I got you, people. So it looks like one my subscribers I subscribed to him. The the name of the video is called well, the title of his channel is The Bronx to the Philippines, right? And he was talking about like he's kind of upset. I think he just seen the light, the true light of how things work here in the world, in reality, not in fantasy and hoping. Because I would say hopes and dreams is just a fantasy. You know, it's something you wish that hasn't happened yet. You know, it's not part of reality. That's you thinking ahead of time before reality does happen, right? Before the event actually happens. So he was talking like he's tired of doing things, or being grateful, or being available to certain people, like to his employer. Like when they call him, he's always available. He never say no. I'm like that too. I usually never say no, right? Because you know I'm trying to show that my work, the work that I do, you know, I take it seriously, and I'm a responsible person. So you know I like to do the work, but I usually say, you know, I don't agree in certain things, and I just don't do it. Like when I say, you know, I'm there to deliver, I want to get paid when I deliver the items. Whatever I deliver, when I get there, I want to get paid. I don't want to hear when you come back at this. No, I want to get paid as soon as I deliver, and everything's on my truck. You know, I want to see my payment. I don't want to hear no excuses like that. And you know, I tell them how I work. You know, I don't touch, I don't unload. I don't want to go inside your warehouse. I want to load anybody's pallet, anybody's hand truck. You know, I don't want to drive it in. No, I just don't touch anything. When I get there, you got to have your workers to unload the truck, and that's it. Because I've charged you for being a driver, that's it. And anything else that I don't say is not included. So if I don't say I'm not going to charge you for toll, things like that, well, it's not included. You got lucky, but you should appreciate that, because a lot of people's going to charge you for everything, for the load, for the package, you know, for the cost of travel, the mileage. All that is included. None of that is free. Like I say, nothing in this world is free. Yo, everything this is a capitalist country, and money talks here. Business, you should treat it as a business. Don't always give people a free pass to do something for free, because then they really not gonna appreciate it, because they think now you're gonna do things for free. No. Treat everything when you do business as a business. Business is a business, and your friendship is your friendship aside. You know, don't confuse that with your business. Don't mix that up. You know, no, everything is a business. Like, right? I'm trying to help this person, right? Because she has a license to sell, but she can't get a permit for whatever reason. Here in New York City, they're not giving out no more permits. Whatever permits is out there, it's for people that already had them and they keep on renewing them. But these people that are not usually like military or veterans or disabled veterans that I got this license, and you get it for life. I mean, you could skip it or not renew it. You come back in 2 or 3 years, you will have it's guaranteed for life though. But like a regular citizen that got these permits, if you don't reapply, you lose it, or you lose your rating on the list, right? Because the longer you keep it, your status on your numbers go down, and you got priority. But you don't got priority to stay in certain areas, like where the business district, where the money's at. You're not allowed to be there, because you know those streets are restricted only for people that are on the military or have a special license with priority, things like that. So I got those licenses, right? So I use those sometimes, but I do deliveries on the side. But what I do with my other license is like, you know, it's a hobby to me to keep me busy, so that I don't stay home doing nothing, and that's what I do. So I try to tell the lady, you know, because she's trying to get a permit. They're not giving it to her, and it's a lot of paperwork and all that, and I don't think she could handle it, or she don't want to go to the trouble bit. And these cars that they rent, they rent them like for $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. It depends. If you got a truck, it could cost you $4,000 a month, and just to park these trucks, right? And a commissary holding, it costs like $1,500 a month. That's a lot of money. And so that means you got to be working 7 days a week to make this money. So she don't got that. But the thing is, she had told me once that she was gonna rent the truck, right? And they was gonna rent it for her for $1,000 and something. And on top of that, she had to leave a deposit. And that's a lot of money. So I offer her to work with me because I got a special permit and I got my own license. I got a special license, right? That allows me to work in restricted areas, but still, the city always mess with you no matter what. And everybody wants to tell you where to be and where to go and things like that. There's always a problem, but you got to fight it. Me, I'm a fighter. I dispute everything. Like I said before in my other videos, don't let anybody tell you anything different, man. You want to find out yourself and dispute everything. So I would say, listen, you was going to pay $1,000 something and a deposit that you can't even make in a week, within a month. I don't even think, because she sells ices, those ices that these kids like for $2, $3. And I'm only charging her $20 a day, and she's saying that's a lot. And the fact is that she can't bring the truck. It's a push car, right? It's not that big. And it's hard for her to push it up and down. So then she wants me to, pick her up, drop her off. And, that's expensive to me. I don't want to go back and forth with her, bring her back, and she's working with me. She's only going to give me $20. I'm hoping her, listen, okay, I'll lend you the car. I'll be at the spot waiting with my truck, and you just bring it down yourself. Bring the truck over, and then like that, since we both gotta go, I'll drop you off and that's it. But I'm not coming back and forth just for $20. I think that's expensive, but she was gonna pay $1,000 something, $1,500 for a month for a truck. That's every month. Plus she had to leave a deposit just in case. And but she don't want to pay me $20 a day, that she could make. But she's arguing about that. Maybe I give her a break and save $15 a day. I'm sure she could afford that, because that's a business, And I can't bring my pride. I can't let her work for free, using my benefits and things like that. And she's gonna work for free. No, I don't care if you're a girl. Business is a business. I treat everything as a business. So I don't give breaks to nobody anymore. Well, I never did. That's what my brother understood. When I was young, I was always tough on everybody. But then I didn't like to associate. I didn't like people asking me questions. And, and as the other things around, my brother's getting rough with people and realizing that, everything that he did that didn't work, being helpful and things like that, is coming bite him back in the rear end. And he's upset. So he made a video. It was kind of rough. But I understand him. But, you learn as you get older. When you do business, you learn certain things that people doesn't appreciate things, especially, people you do things for, they don't appreciate it. They take advantage of your being courtesy to people, right? Being humble to people and helping them. That's what I told one of the managers in the store. He's cool, man, for a manager, but he works like an employee. And I said, you know what it is? I don't want to say his name, but you know what it is with people like us? We're too generous. We like to offer ourselves too much, and people take advantage of that. That's why you can't volunteer to do anything. Don't never overwork yourself for an employer, because he's never going to appreciate it. He's just going to take advantage of that. That's what they do. Employers, they look after their business. They don't want to spend. They always want to save money and make more money. That's the whole job of business, making profit and making money. Pay less and make more. That's what it is. With employees, they pay them less, and they want a better and bigger return. They don't care how much they're paying you, but they want to see you improve their business. That's why they're paying you a salary. That's what you agree to, and that's what they want. They don't care. The day you ask for a raise, they're going to be thinking of cutting you out or cutting your hours or letting you go, because they say, we're not making the money and we have to cut people off. That's what they're going to do. They're going to give you excuses to let you go, and they're never going to appreciate how much time you did and how much time you worked for them. And you came and saved them when they had a problem, and you answered that call and you said, don't worry, I got you, I take care of that, right? But they never thank you. They never send you, increase your pay or give you a little bonus, whatever. Because sometimes, they do that to me. Oh, that's too less, Tony. We're gonna give you another $20. And I don't argue that's okay, because it is too low. I even know myself. The thing I price it like that, because I want to stay busy. So I took their offer. I did deliveries for them. Because I like to move, so I didn't care as long as I had enough money to pay my gas. But gas went up, and it's It's messed everybody up. Now people are charging prices for gas and all kinds of things, and it screws everybody up, employers and people, the drivers. But you like I said, you want something done, you gotta pay, man. No matter what. You want to eat, you gotta pay. You want things done, you gotta pay. You want it done professional and right, you gotta pay. You pay cheap, you get cheap work and cheap effort. People don't put effort. When you don't pay, right, somebody, you can't expect for the person to do a great job or do a phenomenal job because you didn't pay them. You don't appreciate their work. I like to pay because I want the person to know that I paid them for his service and I want it done right? Because if it's for free, he could do whatever you want. And he make a mistake. Listen, I did it for free and you're complaining? It's the same way. If I do a free delivery and something breaks or whatever, it was for free. What are you complaining about? It's not like you pay me. I don't have to safeguard anything. You didn't pay me for my time. What about if my truck breaks down in the highway or something? Are you going to pay? No, right? You say, no, you volunteer to do it for free. You do it yourself, right? That's why I don't volunteer for nothing unless I'm sure that I'm going to be all right. If something happens, I'm going to be responsible. No. But I treat everything as a business. I don't care what it is. Is that doing a business with you contract? That's what I always say. I told my brother, listen, don't do everything out of work. That thing doesn't work, man. At least text that this is what you're offering to provide services to anybody. Text them, this is how much it is. And I say, I always do it like that. This is how much it's going to be just to take it over there or bring something back. I charge them. I don't care because it's just free. They don't appreciate it. People appreciate something where they put in value into something. When you don't put value into something, people don't care. Like when you get somebody, like you want to, show people appreciation that you help them, that they helped you, whatever, you buy them, let's say a brand new car, they're not going to take care of it because they didn't pay for it. They didn't have to sweat, blood, and tears. They didn't have to put time. It was given to them free, willingly. So they don't care. They break it. They don't care because they didn't earn it out of their sweat. They don't appreciate it. That's why you got to make people pay for your services. So like that, they could treat it right. And when they pay for it, they treat everything right and careful. They just don't neglect it. Like if you lend your car out and you didn't charge them to rent, they're going to break that car because you lend it out free and they don't have to pay. So they give it to you with an empty gas, scratched up, maybe a flat tire or whatever. Slowly they bring it back to you with an empty tank, flat tire, dents all over, and then they're going to pay for it. They have an accident. Who's going to pay for it? You are, because you lend your car out. No. Do everything by the book, man. That's why there's a law in books and things like that. Do everything by the book so you could safeguard yourself, man, and your property. So I don't do that. So now I got this lady. She calls me that she wants to work for me, but she don't want to pay me. But she was quick to pay $1,000-something to a company to lend her a truck, and they was renting for $1,500 plus down payment. But she's willing to pay them, but she won't pay me $20. You see what I mean? So no. So I either charge her $15 or because she don't want to pay $20 because she says it's too much for her. But come on. I tell her, listen, you get value when you pay for something. When something is too easy to cheat, things never work out. Things always break down and it becomes a mess. That's why I always pay for my services. I don't like to get anything for free. I don't like handouts or anything like that. If I didn't earn it, I don't want it. That's the way I am. If I didn't earn it, I don't want it. Don't tell me, this is for you. No. If I didn't earn it and I didn't pay for it, I don't want it. That's it. That's the way I am. Because, cheap things cost more expensive. When you get it for free, you don't have no value. You don't take care of it. You don't put appreciation to what they gave you or what you got. That's why I'd rather, pay for what I'm getting or what I'm buying. So I could guarantee and I could value that I know that I pay for, it has value. So, looks like my brother's upset with his company that he works so much for them. I remember he told me that he was driving a truck. He called me, they had a truck, right? But I don't have a truck. I got a truck, but it's not that big. What he was doing, he was transporting some tires all by himself. It's crazy. Nah, that's why I don't do that. That's why I tell him, no, I'm just a driver, I'm delivery. You want to load heavy stuff, whatever, you have to get somebody to load the truck. When I get there, I'm not going to load it and unload it for somebody else. And you're going to pay me minimum on nothing at all. Load costs money. Picking up stuff costs money. Unloading, loading. driving, that's a hassle. The car breaks down, a flat, the brakes wear out, you got to, power steering laws or whatever, a hose pops, radiator, all kinds of things happens when you're out doing this. And then they're going to cover you for that. That's your own problem. That's what I know. You delivery, and you're going to charge them for everything. The weight, the weight of the carriage, how big it is, the mileage, the gas, the tolls. You got to charge them all. You're going to treat your business like it's a legit business, that they're going to pay for all the services, or they're going to take care of you if something happens, appreciation, like give you $30 extra for gas or whatever, and things like that. Say something, but use your worker and take advantage of his generosity and courtesy that he's doing work for you, and then you call him every day when something happens and things like that when you need him, but you don't appreciate his work. You don't buy him, a drink or something. Take your time. When you come back after you load it, take your time, relax, and we get you when you come back. Something like that, But people don't appreciate stuff. That's why you're trying to help them. That's why I really don't help people that don't want to help themselves. Like, they just talk and talk, but they really don't. When you ask them, okay, what you doing? You got everything set? You got a plan? No, they don't have a plan. They're just talking out their mouth. It's fantasy talk. I don't deal with that, man. You don't have a constructed plan of what you're gonna do. Don't talk to me that what you're gonna do, because I know it's a lie. It's just, just a dreamer. That's it. I hate them people. I just listen to them. I just want to leave. I try to cut them off. I got things to do, and I leave. But they're just wasting the time, and they're just dreamers. They're not gonna do nothing. They're not gonna accomplish nothing. They're just wasting your time, taking your time, and slowing you down. So I don't like that. I like people that are motivated, that I know that they work, that they're out there working. Those are the people that help, and I encourage them to do more, and to improve or whatever. That's why I got clients that call me. Like I said in my other video, the other manager had called me that he got another store for me, that he could give my number out, so I could do deliveries. Now I don't know who this person is or what store, so I guess I'm gonna have to expect the call and call it. Usually I don't pick up unrecognized numbers, but I gotta ask them, who recommend you, like that I know that it was connected to somebody that I know. And I do the delivery. I see how it is, because I give people, the first couple of days I gave them discounts, so they could get the rhythm of me, things like that. But sooner or later, I have to raise your, the rate on the deliveries. So that's what I did. And some of them think that I think I'm getting too greedy or whatever. Come on. $100 to fill up a whole truck and just deliver for $100 without paying gas. And I pay $30 of gas. That's already 70 or 40. I get 60. I don't make nothing out of that. So I try to make it even that if, they stay on budget, they're on budget. But, help them be comfortable in what they're paying, so I can always have word and come back and do delivery. So I don't mind. But, I don't like that. But anyway, people, with that, I let you go. Don't be too generous to everybody.